Time for explosive news, guys. So we have a lot to talk about with Ripple. But just before that, from Insider Paper, Justin, NATO to kick off nuclear drills involving B-52 bombers on Monday. Hold on, wait, what? On Monday? I mean, listen to this, guys. Somebody did say that next week there's going to be a breakdown of the financial system. Do they mean collapse, maybe? This is escalation and planned, of course, right? Fascinating, fun times ahead. This is not a good idea at this time. Many entities ready to spark a war. What if something is misconstrued or mistaken during these drills, right? Possibly, guys. But you know what's very crazy? There's a very weird group of people who are very deadly afraid of that, but nonchalant about nuclear war. Fascinating, isn't it? In my humble opinion, it's because of what? Narratives. What? Collapse the system, right? The current system. Bring on board the next system, the new one. From the Skull CV, Justin, US to send, or is sending $725 million more in weapons to Ukraine. Here we go, right? But always remember the 5th of November, guys, that will something happen, right? It seems like things are accelerating, to say the least. Wall Street Silver Suita, finally the truth. JP Morgan trader, quote, no one knows what to do right now, not a single person. Actually, that's false, guys. You know why? Because we literally know what to do. Buy XRP. Duh. It's so simple, right? Duh. How more easy could it get, guys? XRP will reign supreme in the new era, plus it's a hedge against the collapse. Wait, what? Oh my, gold as well? Beautiful. Look at this right here. We can't make any of this stuff up, guys. This stage is being set. New York City World Trade Center platform adds Ripple XRP. Hold on. This is just crazy. I cannot believe my face, guys. What? Again, exciting times up ahead. How don't people see? So, let's take a closer look at this. Ripple. Wow, a lot of Ripple talk. And then, crypto means business. Ripple. If you go down here, shift your business into carbon neutral. Take a real step towards net zero with a carbon neutral blockchain and Ripple's crypto solutions for business. Again, all narratives, all the good narratives are with Ripple and XRP. Isn't this fascinating? Then, Swift isn't fast enough. Swift isn't fast enough. Swift isn't fast enough. Move value across borders in an instant with Ripple's crypto solutions for business. Guys, wait a minute. Hold on a minute. They just told us where this world is heading towards, that everything needs to be instantaneous, right? Digital. XRP, we just talked about it yesterday, how it teleports throughout time and space. We basically got confirmed again, guys. Ripple. Oh my. We are very close to having a global coverage of on-demand liquidity. Global. It's all about global. BG123 location is called where, or where at. Located at world, right? It's literally about this world, guys. Ripple can't do business in United States yet, thanks to a fraudulent lawsuit issued by the SEC 2 years ago. Kicks the SEC's ass in court, begins advertising in the United States. What's next? Hold on, guys. Swift isn't fast enough. Here we go again. It's time. It truly is time. Guys, I'm actually getting super excited. Right? Oh my. I can't believe that in just possibly a few weeks from now, or, you know, a few years maximum from now, our lives will be changed for the better, right? But remember, what will you do with that money, guys? Think about it, right? Think about what you'll do with it. Interesting stuff, interesting topic. But I'm going to tie everything together, guys, in this video. If you guys can like the video, I really appreciate it. But listen to this from Watcher Guru. Justin, Fed Governor Christopher Waller says he opposes a United States digital dollar. But it's funny because if you go to the next tweet, Justin, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says it's certainly worth getting involved in developing a CBDC. Oh, really? Right? Opposing views, guys. Isn't this fascinating? It's like duality. They say one thing, then they say the opposite thing. It doesn't matter because it's all one thing, right? Either way, it's going to take place, guys. central bank digital currencies inbound. You know why? Because listen to this right here. All the proof is in the pudding, guys. Listen very carefully. Grab your popcorn. Here we go from David Schwartz. In today's episode of Blockstars, I sat down with Anthony Welfare, Senior Advisor at Ripple, who discussed different use cases and the current state of CBDCs. Tune in. We're going to be listening to that in just a moment, guys. Listen to this first, though. How can Ripple ensure that a central bank digital currency on the XRP ledger won't be used to control money like how China intends to do so, right? So basically, from David Schwartz, we can't. But if the XRP community thinks it's important, and I think they do, they can ensure that such a product competes on a level playing field with products that have different features and parameters. It's all about this level playing field, guys. It's literally all about this level playing field. The more rules you place on your parts, the more value people can extract by bridging between those outside your system and those inside it, governed by a system. Competition makes the system still work reasonably well for everyone, and eventually maybe you realize the rules do more harm than good. Interesting. It doesn't matter about anything. You know why? Because this is where the world is supposedly heading towards. Listen to this, guys. Blockstars with David Schwartz. Listen, listen, listen.
So I imagine there's going to be benefits to central banks, to governments, to institutions, to individuals, to small businesses. Do you see the entire ecosystem benefiting?
Yes, it is about benefiting the whole system. It's not just the central banks and the institutions, as I talked about with the sort of innovation sort of angle that we look at. That does come down to everybody's small businesses, as entrepreneurs, as just normal people going around their everyday lives. But obviously, the benefits of a CBDC are within the large part of the financial system. So it's the central bank and commercial banks, and it allows them to restructure the cost base and make the payments cheaper, lower cost per unit. It also enables using DLT. It enables you to reduce fraud, or at least be able to track it better. So a DLT, a blockchain, helps you give certainty and traceability. And so you can help to track where money is and what's happening, and help to stop sort of bad behavior, around the world, and what could and couldn't happen. And then
there we go. So if we fast forward a little bit, by the way, I'll leave this specific podcast link down in the description below so you guys can investigate further, because I do suggest you guys watching the whole thing, because I did, guys. It's very fascinating, right?
China has officially a CBDC, but it's not based on the same technology. Bahamas and Jamaica and places like that have, some real life pilots, but still very small. You're talking about, only a few million transactions, but it's gaining momentum. And, just this year, in the last, sort of even in the last 6 months, the momentum is growing. And, we talk to central banks globally all the time, and they're more and more interested in it. And it is only going to get quicker and quicker. And the technology obviously is getting better as well. So I think better technology and better understanding means that this is going to grow quickly over the next few months and into the next years.
You think
There we go, guys. Everything will start accelerating, right? Towards the digital era. The train has left the station.
And how the innovation can happen from CBDCs.
Yeah, I think we saw the same thing like on the enterprise payment side, where banks were very conservative and very slow moving, and it took more aggressive organizations like payment service providers who were willing to move more quickly. And then the banks are starting to feel like they're getting left behind. And it took that kind of pressure of seeing these other success cases. It's unlikely, it's not impossible, but it's not that likely. For example, the United States or the UK are going to be like industry leaders in deploying CBDC for real, because the risks are so much higher. I think it's probably going to take at least pilots that are successful by smaller countries that they can look at and say, oh yeah, this stuff really does work and it really does provide benefits. I think you really need to provide them this sort of almost conclusive proof. You have undeniable evidence that there are benefits, because they're just not risk-taking organizations.
I think it's absolutely, and the interoperability side of it means that we can interoperate with existing fiat, with other CBDCs, with stablecoins and native crypto. So it's a very exciting place to be now.
So let's talk about Biden's executive order on the development of digital assets. And the administration has tasked itself with increasing research and development into design and deployment of potentially a U.S. CBDC. So is that validation? Is the U.S. really taking this seriously? What do you think that's going?
Yeah, I think, as we mentioned before about the Libra coin and things like that, set off this whole global really discussion, but the US really, really got hold of this. And I think, Biden's order is great to move things forward. We're definitely seeing positive actions and discussions. How quickly it ends up moving and what the solution looks like is still in discussion, and we still don't know. But I think the fact that this has been put in place and they're trying to review this and make it happen is actually a very good place to be. And it hopefully will help us move things forward quicker.
So is it fair to say that once you have the central banks buy in, the regulatory problems pretty much fall away because regulators don't really question the central banks?
They say the central banks versus regulators and regulators versus central banks is always the issue, the discussion really here. It's the chicken and egg scenario. The regulators tend to lag and they tend to be behind. That's why the innovators and are always ahead and quite often get in trouble because they're very much ahead. The regulators are behind and they're trying to catch up. Slightly different with central banks and CBDCs because they're very similar in terms of they're very institutional and very risk averse. And so it's moving forward. Some of the central banks are very innovative. So some of the central banks we're working with really want to push the boundaries and their regulators are working with them. Others, the regulators, I think, are probably working against them. them a bit. So it's never going to change. Innovation is always the opposite to regulation, and it always is ahead of it.
So I'll ask you to take out your crystal ball for a second and ask you, how long before you think we see some of the first CBDC deployments that can produce tangible benefits?
Yeah, it's definitely coming up. Now, when that is, I don't know. I'd say realistically, for smaller nations, 1 to 2 years. For the larger nations, the US, the ECB, and Japan, etc., the UK, you're realistically talking about 5 years plus still. Now, that doesn't mean we won't do trials and tests in the meantime, but I think to be able to start to use it to get the benefits, because you need the network effect of it, it still will take time. So, I'm sort of 3 to 7 years sort of where we'll really start to see the benefits from this.
There we go, 3 to 7 years. Very fascinating. My prediction was 2025, guys, that this new era will officially begun, right? Or that new era. So it's all in front of our faces that this is where the world is marching towards, guys. But we are prepared, aren't we? Of course we are. We got XRP. We don't need to worry about anything, guys. What's fascinating that I forgot to say this, but it's that they will implement these CBDCs as soon as a crisis hits, especially the United States, guys. We stated that before, and that's what will happen. They're waiting for the big one to go off. Problem, reaction, solution. Last tweet from Ripple right here. Basically, look at this. If you're interested in using crypto to tackle real world problems, we are hiring, right? They aren't stopping, guys, even in this quote-unquote bear market. Look at this. Ripple is one of the few crypto companies that's hiring during a bear market, while all other ones are doing layoffs, right? Exactly, guys. It's all before our faces. We are not worried one bit. Not financial advice. But anyways, hopefully you guys are interested in this video. If you guys please like, subscribe. Amazing day. And guys, see ya.